Howdy and welcome aboard, everyone. Jumbo, my name is Jennifer. Hope everyone's doing so far so good day today. So a few things to remember before we enter the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. As always, safety first at all times. So please remain in your seat at all times. Hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle at all times. Supervise your children at all times. Please do not lift them up in the air. They are not baby Simba. You are not Rafiki. This is not the Lion King show. Also, snacks, put them away now, because it would not be healthy for the animals in the Harambe Wildlife Reserve to accidentally get any of our yummy treats. So no snacking on board. Also, we're going to be quiet as we go through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. We want to listen and observe the animals. We don't want to be loud. We don't want to startle, disturb, or scare them away from the vehicle. So quietly through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. Now, we are in the Ituri Forest, and if you look over to the right-hand side, that is an okapi. Now, the okapi look like they might be related to the zebra because of the stripes along the back and legs, but they are actually related to giraffes. If you were to observe the okapi a little bit more closely and you could see their tongues, that would be one way to know how they are related to the giraffe instead of a zebra. That large, tall, black and white bird, also on the right-hand side, is called a saddle-billed stork. It stands about 5 feet tall and wades through the water on its long legs, hunting for fish. It will pluck them out of the water using its beak. Now, there are a lot of trees and bushes and shadows and vines and logs and ledges and rocks, and animals are going to use all of this as well as their physical characteristics and behaviors to help them conceal and camouflage in this type of environment. So we do have to be very observant as we make our way through the Little Ituri Forest. Let's see. Now up ahead there are some greater kudu, so we're going to come a little bit closer. Now the greater kudu will isolate from one another. When they feel threatened, they will disperse or spread out their numbers. This makes them less vulnerable to predators that might be in the area. Oh, as a reminder, real truck, real road. I'm really driving it for the second time today. So, thank you. Don't worry, you're in good hands. Even though I don't have Allstate, we'll be all right. Now, it is a bumpy ride. Make sure you stay in your seats, and if you drop something overboard, notify me immediately. Over on the right-hand side of the Safi River, pink-back pelicans. Pink-back pelicans get their name from the very light, pale pink coloration along their back and sides. They have an impressive wingspan between 7 and 9 feet wide.
Really? You know that.
It is important to note, clean water is a vital resource for many animals. Whether it's a pond, a lake, a river, a watering hole, or the ocean, clean water is essential. And if you look very quickly over to the left, you're going to see a hippo right over our left shoulders in the water behind that island over there. Might be a little bit difficult to see, but there's one over there. They've been moving around quite a bit today. The average hippo does weigh in at around 5,500 pounds. And everything we've seen today has been a herbivore, meaning they do eat plants, leaves, fruits, and vegetables. There's another one under the water there. It's kind of difficult to see, but they are there. Between 5 and 7 minutes. Now over here on our left-hand side, stay in your seats. Those are Nile crocodile. Now they are not herbivores, they are carnivores. crocodile are the largest of the African crocodile species. They are carnivores. They do eat meat. And one way to tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile is the shape of their snout. Male and female Nile crocodiles will take their eggs in their mouth. They roll them around. This softens the exterior of the eggshell and enables the reptile within to hatch more easily. Now they've got to be careful because they do have strong jaws and they don't want to crush those eggs. But another fascinating thing that reptiles like that will do is hold open their jaws. And when they do, they are releasing body heat, which helps them to cool off when it is hot outside. We are entering into the savannas of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, and as we do, you look out, you see this is more open, dry grass flatland as opposed to the dense trees and bushes of the Ituri Forest, and there's no river running through it. So open, dry grass flatland. And let's see. Over here I do see some wildebeest in the distance. So we're going to, and some Ankole cattle. So we're going to make our way over that way. Some wildebeest over here as well, a little bit closer to us. So for the wildebeest, they stay in very densely packed herds. They prefer these large numbers for protection as well as companionship. And when they migrate together over several thousand miles, stopping only periodically for water. So raise your hand if you've seen the Lion King movie. Yeah, you remember that scene where the wildebeest are charging down the ravine? Yeah, that's a large number. That's what they do. They all move at the same time, in the same direction, at the same speed. It's actually for their protection to do that. If you were to imagine the average size of a wildebeest herd, try to envision 800,000 or more moving all at one time like that. I like to call them supersized. Termite mounds, left and right hand side. Now termite mounds are very hard, similar to concrete. They have holes in them, but they're actually made out of animal poo. And those holes are designed to circulate and ventilate fresh air through the entire structure, keeping it cool like a natural air conditioner. It's actually pretty ingenious. Now over here on our left and right hand side, we're going to see the smaller antelope with the white markings and the little horns. These are called springbok. Now I like to compare them to tigers, but that's not really very scientific of me. But they bounce around, and that's where they get their name springbok from the way that they repeatedly spring up in the air. So they're bouncy. On a single leap, they can leap up around 6 feet. And when they're on the move and they're moving forward, they can go about 13 feet on a single leap. Right there. That little guy. And then over in the distance, those are Ankole cattle with those very large horns. There you go. Now Ankole cattle, over here on our right-hand side, as a species, are very ancient, dating back to the Egyptian pyramids, where there are images of them etched onto the pyramid walls. They are bovine. They are related to the buffalo as well as the bison. And those very large horns have a honeycomb shape on the interior, which filters body heat away from the Ankole cattle, enabling it to stay cool and not overheat. Now over on our left-hand side, quietly, thank you. These are Maasai giraffe. Now, researchers estimate that there are between 4 and 7 different species of the giraffe, the Maasai being one with those rough-edged patterns. The average giraffe stands about 18 to 20 feet tall. The length of a giraffe's tongue is in proportion to the body, about 18 to 20 inches long. Now, giraffes have very long legs. Those legs are powerful. They are used for protection, so they can strike out and kick out at a predator if need be. They have very long necks. Their necks contain 7 vertebrae. Amazingly, so do ours. Theirs just happen to be a little bit larger. Average male giraffe will weigh around 3,000 pounds. A female about half that weight. Left and right, baobab trees. Baobab trees look like that because they are dormant 9 months out of the year. So instead of producing leaves, they are conserving and storing water. Makes them a great natural resource on the savannas in a time of drought because they are a water resource. Over on the left-hand side, African elephants. From the front or the back, they're still African elephants. Now, if you can take a look at their ears, you'll see that they are roughly the outline of the continent of Africa, and that is one way that they are identified as an African elephant. They also have incredible trunks. Those trunks are called prehensile because they can grip and grab and wrap around and lift up things. A giraffe's tongue is also prehensile because it too does grip and grab, wrap around and lift up things like leaves and branches when it is eating. Over on our left-hand side, these are the greater flamingos. And flamingos, of course, are famous for those pink colors. And that pink comes from its diet of brine shrimp. So when flamingos are born, they're not pink and they're not white. They're actually gray because they haven't yet had an opportunity to consume or eat the brine shrimp just yet. So a grouping of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Now we're going to leave the flamboyance of these greater flamingos behind, and we're going to head on over to the mud wallow. And we're going to take a look at the mud. So over here, left-hand side, mud is a great natural resource. Animals will use it for a number of different things, like the white rhino, black rhino, African elephant, warthogs. When they soak in it, it will cool them off. When they are coated in it, the mud is a natural insect repellent as well as sunscreen. So they will use it to prevent sunburn, much the same way that we use sunscreen before going outside. Animals like that will coat their hides in the mud to also prevent sunburn. Now quietly, very, very quietly, over on our left-hand side, 3 white rhinos. Now, white rhinos, like a black rhino, also have extremely sensitive hearing. If you see their ears moving around, they're paying attention to our activities. They're aware of our presence here. Their eyesight is about 5 to 10 feet in front of them, and they rely heavily on sense of sound for navigation. A black rhino will weigh in at around 3,000 pounds, a white rhino around 5,000. Right over on the hill right here, by the third tree and the first tree, there are cheetahs. So use your spotting eyes. They can sometimes be difficult to spot. There are about 7,000 cheetahs remaining in the wild. They are the fastest land cat, reaching speeds of about 60 miles an hour. Now over here on our left of the Kopi Rock, we're going to see 2 female lions and the male lion. Like most domesticated cats, lions do spend a majority of their day lying around. They are primarily more active in the morning and in the evening hours. Now, their night vision is about 6 times greater than that of ours for that very reason. A lion's roar can be heard upwards of around 5 miles away. Interestingly though, a cheetah which is also another predatory cat, cannot roar. A cheetah will chirp and growl and purr, but instead of roaring, it chirps. And that chirp for the cheetah is heard about a mile away. Of all the predatory cats, cheetahs also have the smallest teeth. And they need those small teeth so that they can bring in as much oxygen as possible, so they can maintain those top speeds more effectively. Now, as for the lions, male lions are responsible for protecting territory. Female lions are responsible for hunting. They go out together in teams and hunt together, which makes them more effective predators. About every 1 in 8 lion hunt is successful. Over here on our right-hand side, if you look on the ground, just near the grasses, you're going to see some ostrich eggs. Look to the right on the ground, closer to the truck. Right, oh, over to the right, right. Those are ostrich eggs. Yeah, the big ones. So ostriches are very large birds. They do lay very large eggs. Those eggs are about the size of a football and weigh about 3 pounds each. I've actually heard they don't taste very good. Now we have 3 female ostrich, and then we did not get to see them today. Those are their eggs. Ostriches generally go back to the same spot over and over again to lay their eggs. And if we look over here at the warden's post on the left-hand side, Nigerian dwarf goats. Nigerian dwarf goats are popular with farmers because they are smaller than traditional cattle. They take up less land space and can still be a resource for milk. And goat cheese is actually very yummy. It's because the goat milk is rich in buttermilk. I hope everyone enjoyed their journey through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. It was my pleasure to have you folks on board. If anyone is participating in the Wilderness Explorers program, you need to remember Simba 1. That is Simba and the number 1. I'd also like to encourage everyone to reduce, reuse, and recycle whenever possible, as this will help protect the natural resources and wild places for animals all around the world. All right, everybody, hold your nose. We're going underwater. Nah, not really. I will, however, remind you that water is an essential resource. It has been very hot today. So, add some water to the fluids that you're drinking. Make sure you stay hydrated. All right, everyone. Safety first. Hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle. Remain seated until you are given the all clear to stand up and exit from the vehicle. My name was Jennifer. It was my pleasure to have you folks on board today. So again, thank you for joining me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle. Doors are sliding open. And watch your head and step as you exit from the vehicle. Kwaharini, thank you. Be well, be wild, be inspired, and enjoy the rest of your adventures this evening. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.